All right. Can you hear me? Caleb, you can still hear me, right?
I can hear you fine.
All right. We're going to check something real quick because I just went live. Yep, we're live now on a
All right.
different
We're gonna check
stream.
something.
This is so bizarre. Sorry, folks, everyone who's just joining in now. I was having some issues
Oh.
with OBS. We are live now. We're just live at a different link. And we are still getting spam from people who want me to condemn them. But I will not condemn them. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go and I'm going to rename the new stream to what the old stream was called since I couldn't get it working. Do you want to, by the way, I'm joined right now by my right-hand man, Caleb. So for those who don't know, Caleb is an animator, cartoonist, one of the great unsung heroes of the Freedom Tunes franchise. He has been absolutely crushing it. We've worked together for what, like 8 years now, probably. It's been a while. It's been like a long while.
It's
But
been a long time. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. Caleb is a fantastic animator, and because as Freedom Tunes has grown, I've had to step out into like a more managerial role, running the business. Obviously, I'm still doing the writing, still doing the voicing, still doing some animation tweaks and stuff sometimes. But Caleb like manages the animation team. And he's does a lot of the character designs now and has for a while. He's a really talented artist. So I will let you chat with everybody for a moment while I get this fixed.
Yeah, that's great. All right. Hey, everybody. Yeah, I'm Caleb. I've been kind of in this like managerial, kind of directorial role, you could say, for a while now. I see the chat 6-7. That's pretty cool.
I've never heard that
I
one
see you guys
before.
are all very hip in the chat. Uh, yes, condemn. Yeah, yeah. I'll condemn Seamus. I'll
What?
come out here and
No.
say
Why
that he
am I
was
being
late. He did
condemned?
spend 20 minutes. Tr- he spent 20 minutes asking Grok questions, and Grok lied to him. And
That's like
then,
a little bit what did happen. That's actually a little bit
am I
what did
single? No.
happen.
You know what? I'm not. I'm a married man. Thank you for asking.
What did
But
somebody
so
ask?
no, I'm not. I cannot say I am. We're not looking to open the marriage, so it's gonna stay that way.
Based? Based the sanctity of marriage,
This is
which
my
we
first Freedom
value
Tunes
here.
stream. You know what?
Sorry, what were you saying? Can
You
you
know, I
hear me
think it's I
now? I
think
hope
most
we're not
people's first
lagging.
Freedom
I hope
Tunes stream.
I hope we're not lagging too much because we started stream. Oh, is someone asking about Grok being an AI girlfriend?
No, I don't think so. Wait, can you hear me right now? I'm talking like here.
Yeah, no, I can hear you a little bit better now. We might be getting a little bit of lag. I'm going to close out of a couple other things because I had a bunch of tabs open trying to get this up and running, basically. No, has Caleb
But yeah,
van?
my
Oh no, I hope it's not.
no,
I'm
no,
going to
I'm
blame
here. I'm
our
here.
internet.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I mean, like, I hear you sometimes, but you kind of sputter in and
Wait.
out.
Oh, hold on. Okay, give me a second.
All right, so everyone in chat, can we get a condemnation of Caleb for his internet not working? Can you guys all hear me? That's the important thing because now people are saying they can barely hear me. Turning my audio up. Can y'all hear me now? All right, I want to get some heavy condemnations. I want some condemneds in chat of Caleb. Thank you. Thank you all very much. Good. Based. Caleb's going to work on like trying to get his internet back up and running. We also have this. We've got a little meter here with today's goal for crowdfunding. And you guys can hear me now, right? Good. I see people in chat are saying that they can hear me. That's good news. That's good news. Is Caleb still around? Is he gone? All right. Well, firstly, I want to thank you guys all so much for joining. I'm gonna have to go post this link everywhere else because I got the chat thing messed up. But let's hope we're able to pull Caleb back in. And it looks
Can you hear me okay right now?
I can hear you great. Yeah.
Hello? Hello, hello?
Yeah. I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Oh, okay. I
Awesome.
can hear you just fine.
Perfect. All right. I think we're good now. I think we're good. Hey, chat. Can you guys all hear Caleb? Can't
Yeah,
hear
can you guys
either
hear me
of you.
fine?
All right, good. People are all right. Someone was trolling because they said I can't hear either of you, and I think They were trying to throw us for a loop. That was one of those trolls, as they say. All right, perfect. Yeah, there's a little bit of a delay, but it sounds like everyone is able to hear everything, which is very, very good news. Caleb, I'm going to jump over and post this link everywhere if you just want to take a second to like talk to everyone in chat about who you are, what you do, Freedom Tunes, all that cool stuff.
Yeah, sure thing. Yeah, I went to college with Seamus and we sort of met through there, and I've been the director, you could say, of Freedom Tunes, particularly between, I'd say, like 2021 and 2023. Pretty much any video that you see that was uploaded to the channel around that time, I probably had a huge hand in one of those videos. And since then, I have been I've even stepped into a somewhat like managerial role with Freedom Tunes, but there's quite a few videos you'll find. I'm the designer of Freedom Tunes Kamala Harris, which is my big claim
That's
to
right.
fame.
That is your big claim to fame. Caleb did the design for our Kamala.
So I am proud of that.
You should
we
be.
actually do have a fan Discord to a certain degree. Someone was asking about that.
Oh yeah, we have for like the
But yeah, I did see,
Oh yeah, sorry, go ahead. For like Patreon and for people who donate through our website, we've got like a Discord that's set up for everybody. But sorry, I think I cut you off again because of the lag.
Oh no, you're fine. I did new Kamala. Someone in chat was asking. I did the new one. The little gremlin Kamala was designed by me. Yeah,
the accurate one.
And you know what? Twitter, even and even like left wing Twitter liked that one. So you have to give me props there, because they don't like anything we do. If you ever see.
Dude, I've gotten some bizarre messages from loony lefties on Twitter about that Kamala design, and I'll leave it at that.
That's yes. Okay. All right. Sounds good. Good place to leave it. We do. Oh, you know what we should do? We should answer the one super chat that was given on the last stream.
Oh yes. What did they say? Could you pull that up real quick?
Yeah, well, or I can try. I think they said I summon you. And I don't remember who that was, but there was someone who sent a $20 super chat that said I summon you.
Somebody asked if you're my APAC handler.
Yeah. I'm exactly actually right. You know what? Never mind.
Let me see. Let me try to do something real quick. I might even like, what if do you think it might help with the lag if I just pull you up on mobile real quick?
Yeah, it might.
Yeah, let's just jump out and let's do this on mobile. All right, you're on mobile now, right? Say something. Hey, can you hear me?
Oh wow, chat is saying there's no lag, which is strange. Yeah,
Chat's saying there's no lag. What? I'm for sure hearing a lag. Hear me at all? Yeah. All right. Well, whatever. Let's just go back to Discord then, since chat says there's no lag. All right. Sorry guys. Sorry this is all over the place. We've just been having some technical difficulties because I haven't done a stream on this channel in like 6 years or something. It's been a really, really long time. But we're going to get Caleb back in here, and then I'm going to start reading all y'all's chats. By the way, did you notice that Discord has like some spooky Halloween noises now? That's pretty cool. That's pretty exciting. This is like the platform we've used for communication, and we keep using it out of habit, but it is quite the platform, dude. Discord is very... Caleb has said this before. They just kind of like refuse to be an adult company. It feels like they're like, look at these silly little gifts that we have and the noises we make. And I'm like, I don't know. I feel like there's other things y'all could improve right now, but maybe I'm just a curmudgeon. So we're gonna go through sending my condolences to your internet. Yeah, I know. Apparently it's dead. Joseph says, I love your work, man. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. No, Caleb, I can't hear you at all right now. But are you... Caleb just asked if I could hear him. No, I can't hear him at all. We'll try to get.
Oh, I figured that out. I got that figured
Oh,
out.
okay. Were you muted or something?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So
Okay.
I sometimes I have to unplug and replug stuff in to get it like the lag might have been my fault, and so I like unplugged and replugged in some stuff to try and fix that. And now I think it should be okay, and you should be able to hear me actually because I have to
Yeah,
switch
dude.
on my mic when I
I
do
can
that.
hear you a
So
lot better right now. I feel like there's not a lag anymore.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I think so too.
Thank goodness. Okay, so I just want everyone to know that the lag was like completely and entirely Caleb's fault, and everything's
I
fine
think
now.
all
It
right.
was literally
Sometimes my audio system it lags. So like because I have this like exterior audio. Okay, whatever. Chat doesn't care about that. That's boring. We're half an hour
yeah.
after our original
All
start
right,
point.
ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, here we are. Let's dive right in. So we have a super chat for $50 from Jonathan. I want to be able to read your whole name, so I'm going to click the chat. Jonathan English 9146 says, I got a $50 refund on gun parts I ordered, so here you go. Well, thank you so much. That's very generous of you. Listen, we really appreciate that. I'm sorry you got refunded on gun parts, though, unless you were able to keep the firearm, in which case, best of both worlds.
Sorry, I'm laughing at Emily saying awesome stream so far, guys. I would almost think that was sarcastic if it wasn't from Emily.
Yeah, Emily.
I would assume that she was
Listen,
making fun of us.
I would assume she was making fun of us as well. That was pretty. That was a pretty brutal start. I got asked a really pressing question. What is your favorite color? It's hard to pick. I don't really want to upset the other colors, but if I were to say one, like probably green. Probably green. I don't know. I think green's a pretty baller color. We're getting people who are saying condemn them. Lots of condemn dems in chat. By the way, we've got a little graphic of anti-woke dog dancing around that I want to use in this, but it's been giving me trouble. It's been giving me problems, as they say. So that's a little.
Which is crazy because honestly, at this point, the stream has pretty much gone off without a hitch. Besides that, so.
We've had zero issues aside from that. We have Notice Me Senpai. They said I put atheists, leftists, and their name. All right, so we have Riley Welker 631 that said, I put atheists, leftists, and flat earthers all in the same category. People I immediately disregard once they open their mouths. P.S. Can you do Nick Freitas in one of your videos? I could definitely look into that. And by the way, as far as leftists go and atheists and flat earthers, like, I don't know why you would lump based and red-pilled flat earthers in with atheists and leftists. I mean, come on now, guys. I know. Caleb's always posting flat earth stuff in chat and always telling us, like, guys, you have to come to the flat earth convention.
Yeah, well, that's the thing is because the reality is when you're in the planes and you're looking through those curved windows that show that make the fake curve on the horizon, it gives you a lot of time to think when you're sitting there on the tarmac that isn't actually moving. But
does the tarmac not actually move either? Is that been confirmed by the Flat Earth Society?
So yeah. When you go in a plane, they just sort of drive around the airport and then you just get out somewhere else. Like they just sort of go in a circle and then they tell you, oh, you're in Georgia or whatever. And it's like, yeah, okay.
Yeah. You're like actually at the same place. It's just psychological conditioning. You're willing to believe that you went somewhere else, but it was like literally not that the whole time. By the way, we trying to get this set up. I'm trying to get my little anti-woke dog graphic on screen. You guys can see how that's going for me. He just vanished earlier. But you can see he's dancing, and I will show you guys when he dances because we get to our goal. But let me read some more of these super chats from you wonderful, wonderful, wonderful people. And also, aside from the super chats, some exciting news. We've got some previews of upcoming segments from the show that we're making that we're going to play a little bit later tonight. So let me keep going through these super chats.
I can't believe this. Just Seamus, someone just sent a super chat about you having a dog name.
Caleb and I were just talking about this. Hey, Seamus, they said Bill Clinton had a chocolate lab named Seamus. Okay. Firstly, Caleb and I were literally just talking about this, and this works into twisted plots because we actually had a joke that Caleb suggested for one of the episodes about how like people will tell you that you have the same name as a dog that they know, and it's like it's like, are you saying I have a dog name? Like I can't tell if this is
Right, like it's a weird, because if someone says, oh, my daughter is named that, you're like, oh, they must like this name. But if someone says like, oh, my dog is named that, it's like, oh, well, thanks for letting me know.
And by the way, I want to just ask y'all if you could go over. I don't know if they're gonna let me do this, but I appreciate all the super chats, and we're gonna read them all. But I want to put this.
Yeah, we're getting.
Yeah, you guys it's insanely generous. I want to put this on screen though, that we have a website for the crowdfunding for our show. It's twistedplots.com. So if you guys are able to go over to twistedplots.com and pledge any amount of money, we'll be able to get you access to the pilot. Sorry, I'm laughing because the image of myself started floating as I said that. But we'll be able to get you access to our pilot. By the way, my image was floating because I was abducted by aliens, which is a topic relevant to our first episode. Should I I want to read some of these super chats. Should I describe what Twisted Plots is and what we're doing to people who like have not yet heard the news, maybe?
Yeah. Let's do that before we get into everything. Let's maybe talk about the show if people don't know what it is. I mean, I'm assuming our beautiful, wonderful viewers know everything, and they watch all of our videos, and they keep up with everything. No one here would ever skip a
one
Freedom
of our
Tunes
videos.
upload.
No, of course not.
Yeah,
they would never do that. I know them. I know they would never do that.
Yeah, everyone here click, like the ads come on, and they click on the ads, and they go to the websites that the ads are from, and they click around there, and they do everything they can, actually, I don't know if we can say that. I'm not sure if I think that might, never mind. But
well, here's what we can say. We are launching a new full-length animated show for those who are unaware, and it's an anthology series. Each episode is like a completely different story. Each episode tells a different story with different characters. We've already finished our first episode. It's over 25. It's actually just about 25 minutes long. So this is something we know we're able to do because, I've already put my money where my mouth is and invested in episode 1. And if you guys go over to twistedplots.com and you support the show, you will get access to that first episode. You'll be able to watch it. As far as what we're doing now, we want to crowdfund the rest of the first season. And so we launched our crowdfunding campaign about 2.5 weeks ago. And we are currently a little over 50% of the way there, which is huge. And we're almost to the halfway point of the campaign as well. That's going to come in a few days here. So our goal for tonight is to raise 1% more of our current goal, roughly. So if you guys go over to twistedplots.com, pledge $20, you'll get access to the pilot. You'll be helping us build the future of entertainment. It's conservative, and it also needs to be made by people who are doing this at the grassroots level, who are being supported by their audience and not necessarily outside investors coming in and saying they want to make a quick buck over the fact that people are moving away from wokeness. So twistedplots.com, please go over there and donate to help us make the show. And I'm going to read some of these super chats now because I want to make sure I get to all of your chats.
Yeah, real quick, $25. If you donate $25, you get the access.
So normally it's $25, but we're just allowing everyone who
awesome
sends money in to get to watch the pilot. Yeah, as a thank you for their support.
So, someone asked here, and I think we should say this real quick, is they said, is all of this money going to Twisted Plots, or would it be better to donate there? If you have a question, feel free to super chat. That'd be awesome. And we'll answer it, or if you have a message or whatever. But if you're just trying to support, then, better to send it through the Give, Send, Go link than through here. If that's like a concern for you.
Yeah, if that's your goal. If your goal is to support Twisted Plots, go over to twistedplots.com and send money there. Obviously, if you send your super chat here, we'll 100% read your super chat, and we very much appreciate it. But the money at the Twisted Plots Give, Send, Go is all going into Twisted Plots. So Madcap Falcon, I think, am I reading that whole name right? Said, hey, Seamus. Goodness, sorry, I'm having more tech issues. Hey, Seamus, longtime fan. I'm the right-wing Weird Al. If anyone wants to book me, well, then let me make sure that I do read your entire name because YouTube is toying with me right now and obscuring it. So I want to make sure that I give that good and proper full read to the audience. It keeps doing this thing where it auto scrolls whenever I try to like read a chat out loud or click on it. So that's a little bit annoying. But yeah, I want to be able to read your full name, man. Caleb, you can see the super chats too, right?
Uh, yeah, I wonder if I can. I wonder if there's a. I know that there's some way because I can. I feel like there's a way to go to the channel and like you can pull up like a live like a giant. It's just like a list of all the super chats. I know that there's some way to do that.
It's Madcap Falcone. I got it. All right. Sorry about that, brother. Madcap Falcone. Yeah, he's the right wing Weird Al. So check him out. We're gonna keep scrolling through. Someone Umbra for $1.99. Thank you so much for your donation. They said, "Would you consider bringing back the debunkers?" Here's the thing: we may or may not have some very special plans for the debunkers in the somewhat near future, but I can't say too much about that at the present moment. Kineo Mountain Woods says, are you open to advertising deals for American-made products through your cartoon or through the show? I think I've only seen you do ads for Hollow. So, yeah, I mean, part of the reason we've done ads for other groups besides Hollow, part of the reason we do so many ads for Hollow is because, like, A, it's a product I really believe in and that I think is very important. B, they've been big supporters of the show. And I know some people will just kind of take any sponsorship to keep the lights on, but it's really important to me that if I'm putting a product in front of my audience, that it's a product that I really think is good. So I've been very selective about sponsors over the years, and people have reached out and asked to do sponsored videos with us. And, you know, they've reached out from companies that I was not really interested in supporting or having support us. So that's why you don't see that much diversity among the sponsors on our channel, because I really want to go for quality over quantity. But you mentioned you're in an American company making an American-made product. Please shoot me a message. I would love to chat about that. I'd love to know about your product and what you're making and see if we could strike some kind of deal. And thank you so much for sending your money in. JX Basshead X said, just want to thank you for the amazing creativity and amazing laughs. Please don't stop making based videos and continuing the laughter. Thank you again, and may Jesus be with y'all and protect y'all. Thank you so much. God bless you. Thank you so much for your generosity. Thank you for your kind words. I massively appreciate all of that. Irregular Reviews said, any advice for spiritual fatigue? Been struggling with my Christian faith since a lot of my struggles persist. My church kept referring me to the story of Job, but I felt extremely dismissed. Any advice? All right, well, this is something I'm happy to speak to, actually. And I think that's a pretty common thing. I think a lot of Christians end up feeling like that at different points in their spiritual life and on their journey. One thing I like to say to people is that your relationship with God is, again, I mean, it's not just a series of abstractions you're buying into. It is a relationship. And relationships ebb and flow to a degree. And in any relationship with anybody, there are going to be some times where your heart's more in it, sometimes where your heart's less in it. And those are the moments when you need to figure out what you actually value. So when you get married, for example, you might not feel as crazy about your wife every single day as you do on your wedding day. Hey, maybe she's a bridezilla and you weren't that crazy about her on the wedding day, but the rest of the time she's great. But what matters is that you stick to your commitment, because you're not going to get what you really need out of that kind of a relationship anyway, unless you keep putting the work in, even when things are difficult. And so when it comes to your relationship with God, there's going to be moments where he withdraws consolations from you, because he wants to know that you are in it for him and for that relationship and because you love him. And so people will bring up Job, which it's good. That's a good story, but I can understand why you might feel a little bit dismissed by that, especially if they don't go any deeper. What I would say is, in Job also, I mean, you're talking about spiritual fatigue, but you're also talking about your struggles persisting. And if people are referring you to Job, that leads me to believe one of two things. Like either A, your struggles are to do with things happening around you in your life that are difficult, or B, that they're referring you to the wrong story and your struggles actually have more to do with not receiving the interior consolations you want, not having it feel like your heart and soul are in it. So I think, unfortunately, what happens is we end up thinking our relationship with God can have its health measured on the basis of whether we have all of the warm, positive feelings about God or about the world that He created at all times. But again, listen, you're not always going to have warm, fuzzy feelings about your wife every moment of the day. That doesn't mean you don't love her. It's important to integrate that relationship into reality in a way where you know that it matters to you, even when you're not getting the emotional benefits, if that makes sense. And so that's what I would say. I would say, like, don't put pressure on yourself to feel a specific way. Don't put pressure on yourself to say, like, oh, I'm not a real Christian unless I feel this warmth about God right now. There have been amazing Christians. There have been saints who have gone through what we call the dark night of the soul, where they literally didn't feel God's presence at all. Mother Teresa is a great example of this. I mean, incredibly holy woman, but she talked about this, not feeling God's presence at different points in time. Part of the reason that happens is because He's actually calling you into a deeper relationship with Him. He gives us the consolations. We get excited. We get invested in our relationship with Him. And then those consolations fade, or He takes them away to see what you're going to do next. So I hope that advice helps. And at the end of the day, we can always pray, Lord, that I might see, Domine et videam, please help me come into closer relationship with you, even though I feel like I'm just going through the motions, and even though I don't feel like what I'm doing is real right now. And thank you for your question. Man, you guys are really generous. You've got a lot of awesome chats too here. Someone said, do super chats go towards Twisted Plots, or is it better to donate there rather than here? So if you want your chat read, donate here, but the money for Twisted Plots is being raised through the Twisted Plots campaign page. And part of the reason that's important is because it's a little bit difficult to like sift and sort through YouTube revenue to make sure that the money going to super chats, etc., does get into the Twisted Plots budget. So go over to twistedplots.com and you'll be able to select the donation level, and it'll be a huge help if you guys donate over there. But again, if you super chat here, I'll 100% read your super chat. 100%. We got a couple other chats. Caleb, did I miss any? Did any like vanish while I was reading these?
Yeah, they might. I think there is a way to pull them all up on the channel. I know. I can look into that too, so that we can grab any that we might have missed. And I might do that in the background.
I can probably go do that now if you want to chat with people for a second. I'm going to read one more chat. Yeah, Jonathan, and I'm going to read all of your chats, by the way. I'm just reading one more chat till I go pull some other ones up, and Caleb takes over for a second. Jonathan Ners asks, have you considered pitching an extended season to Angel Studios? You already have an in with your work on Tuttle Twins. Yeah, so I've talked with the people at Angel Studios about a couple different things, and I really like them. I think there's a lot of awesome people there. There's definitely things I'd be willing to work with them on. Our plan for season 1, since we're crowdfunding it, is to just be able to put it out there as freely and widely accessible as we are able to. And so we would like for our first season to not be behind a paywall. And I think actually sometimes Angel Studios, to be fair, does put things up in a place where general audiences can see them without having to pay. I think they do that. But listen, I'd be willing to talk to Angel Studios about other projects or maybe future episodes after the first series of episodes that we produce. But I'm going to turn it over to Caleb for a second to answer some of your questions about Freedom Tunes and Twisted Plots while I go through YouTube Studio to make sure I have all of your super chats.
Yeah, so I'm going to be looking at the regular chat, guys, so you can just say stuff. I mean, I might not answer, there's no guarantee, but I am going to be looking at this. But I was just going to say, on that thing about Angel Studios, if anyone hasn't seen it, actually, if you can't get enough Freedom Tunes, if you've watched every video 5 times, the Tuttle Twins, as they mentioned in their super chat, they actually did upload our segment on YouTube. So if you're desperate for 6 more minutes of Freedom Tunes content, you can go watch it there. Although if you want to watch the full thing, you have to go onto the Angel Studios streaming platform. But you're only, it's about like an extra, they cut around like 2 minutes out of the segment from what you would see on the episode. So if you want to see the vast majority of the episode, you can go look at it there. That was actually a really cool thing to be able to work with them. We should bring back strawman debates. I feel like, you know what? We get people talking about debunkers and strawmen all the time, and they're really fun, series to work on, and they're really fun, like videos to make, and people love them. They really do. Like the fans of them love them. But it's like a funny thing because like the most popular videos are always like, oh, sheets or Wawa, Wawa. Sorry, someone just asked that. I had to completely interrupt that. Definitely Wawa. Big Sleepy Cabin fan, so I hear about Wawa all the time. I have a photo. We went on vacation. I have a photo of me in front of a Wawa. I'm a big Wawa guy. I have been to a Sheets, but I'm a Wawa fan, I'll say. Although where I live, Quick Trip is where you go.
By the way, I was able to pull the super chats up. I was able to find it. Yeah, I was able to find them. By the way, just want to mention to everyone again, twistedplots.com. If you go to twistedplots.com and pledge money, you'll be able to get access to our first episode. It's 25 minutes long. Look, I mean, entertainment media for decades has been dominated by people who hate you. They hate your way of life. They've been chipping away at your culture slowly through propaganda over the course of decades. We're creating a full-length show because you cannot win the culture war if you're not making culture. So if you believe in that, if you like the cartoons we've made, if you believe in our track record after 11 years of producing over 600 shorts, gaining 1 million subscribers, getting 290 million views with $0 spent on marketing, if you see that and you believe that we're the ones to do this as we do, go over to twistedplots.com, pledge $25, get access to the pilot, help us keep our momentum up, and get to our goal so that we can produce a season of this show. I'm going to go over and read some of your super chats. I can't. Aliba Dikovic? I'm sorry. I can't read that. It's a challenge for me. But they're asking, Seamus, where are the spoons? I don't know what you're talking about. You know me. I would never do that. I would never do something like that. You know me. Radiant Selux says $2 for Caleb.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's $2.
That's the most. You know what? Yeah, that's crazy. That's more than Seamus pays me in like a week. So that's
don't tell them that.
That's big.
They can't know. That's a nice super chat we have from Burrito. Asks W, when can we expect episode 2 genuinely? So firstly, for everyone hearing that who hasn't seen episode 1 yet, I want to encourage you to go over to twistedplots.com and support the show so you can watch episode 1, because people who watched episode 1 love it so much that they want to know when episode 2 comes out. So we're making, again, 4 episodes. So our first season will be 5 total, since we already have the pilot done. The second episode, we expect each episode to take between 3 and 6 months to make. We're aiming for 3, but we'll see. And that's just because, as you guys know at this point, creating animation on a routine basis takes a lot of time, takes a lot of energy. It's going to take like 6 to 10 people working for that entire 3 to 6 month period in order to get the episode out. I think 3 is realistic though. But that said, so you're asking when can we expect episode 2? The plan has been to go into production in January, so then the episode would be out in March. But I think we're talking about trying to do that sooner. And actually, we already have storyboards for we're working on storyboards for episode 2, so I think it's possible for us potentially to go into production earlier on that. So we don't have a full release date yet, but if you guys liked it, listen, I'm glad you liked it that much. I'm glad you enjoyed it enough that you want to know when episode 2 comes out. We're really, and by the way, in the meantime, like, we're still going to be releasing Freedom Tunes. You're still going to get content from us. We just want to make sure that these full-length episodes, these 22-minute to 25-minute long, roughly, episodes are going to be really good. They're going to be evergreen, and they'll have a lot of rewatchability. So we want to make sure that they're done in a way where quality is put above everything else. Andrew Rowland, 1989, says, do you plan to do animation in different styles? So the animation for Twisted Plots is a lot nicer in certain ways than the Freedom Tunes animation, just because we've been able to spend more time on it. And Caleb can speak to this a little bit, but the animation tests we've already done for subsequent episodes of Twisted Plots, they're stylistically similar to Freedom Tunes, just in the sense that you can probably tell that the character designs are coming from the same artists, and the animation is too, but it's way more involved. It looks a lot nicer. The animation's a lot smoother. So I suppose it depends on how you're defining style, but Twisted Plots is going to look a lot nicer, and we believe that that Twisted Plots is going to be the first of many new ventures, and that once we have the first season of that show done, will ideally be able to branch out into making other shows, potentially making feature films. And there's going to be all sorts of different stylistic choices that are going to go along with those properties.
Yeah, I was gonna mention that. Yeah, we've been doing new stuff with this, and honestly, as an animator, it's a great. Uh, there's nothing an animator likes more, I believe, than getting to spend twice as much time on a scene as they
Yeah, yeah,
should be.
exactly.
Because it's there is so much you can do, and there's so much you, especially like when we're on this kind of schedule and the budget that we are, it's like for years. I mean, I was in college and we were making an 8-minute video in a year, over the course of a year. And ever since college, I have been doing, we've been doing as much as anywhere from like 2 to 5 minutes a week. And so it's just, you just you gotta work so quickly. And I I'm really excited to be able to like do this more involved sort of just clean, more like intentional almost animation, because when we get to storyboard first and then we get to make sure we get it set up and we get to make sure all the characters are not reused or recycled, but they're actually explicitly designed for this specific purpose, and so they're going to look as good as they can be, and we're going to make sure all the drawings are as good as they can be. That kind of stuff really is fun and exciting for an animator. So and you know what, people are going to get to see some of the previews today, so
Yeah.
that's really exciting, actually.
We're going to play some of those in a second here. Someone says Sub-Zero PD 8039 said Virgin Digital Circus versus Chad Twisted Plots. Beast. I've actually never seen Digital Circus. What's the deal with that? What's the lore behind that? I've seen clips of it, but
all I know. Okay, here's my this is terrible. We shouldn't say, but okay.
If you listen, if you don't want to be put on the spot, I won't make you answer.
No. This is my understanding, right? I've never actually watched any of it, but my understanding is that there's this. It's like people get trapped in a computer, and the man, what is the plot besides that? They're like trapped in a computer as like sort of like digital avatars, and like I feel like the sort of computer program is kind of like a kids show or something. So but they want to get out. They're like regular people, and a lot of them want to get out, but like, or at least the main character does. You know what? I'm realizing how little I actually know. I've seen a lot about it. I know like a bunch of character names, and I always see, let's say like discourse about it. The creator is an Oni Plays fan, so that's cool.
Oh, nice.
But beyond that, it's like it seems I haven't seen anything that I thought was like, oh, this sucked. It's not well, man, maybe we shouldn't say, but
yeah, I don't listen. I don't know anything about it. That's part of why I was asking.
It's not for children. Someone just asked if it's for children. I would not show it to your kids.
No,
okay. There's censored swears, and there's characters who will like occasionally die like randomly. I think someone was saying that they showed it to like their kid, and their kid started crying because a character gets like blown up in an episode.
Oh,
so
that poor kid, that's really sad.
I would not show it to kids.
And this is Digital Circus, yeah. So I'm gonna get some of these other chats. Dr. Dipshit's House of Memories gave us a super chat. They said, I watch the birth control is legal joke a lot. I rewatch the birth control is legal joke a lot. I'm very glad you enjoyed that. Duck Dog said orange for $10. Thank you.
I think that was during the question about favorite colors, and they yelled orange.
Because they wanted why? Because we worship the Orange Man. We're in his cult of personality.
No, it's because I was thinking about it. I thought maybe it's because actually literally nobody knows this except for me, so it probably wasn't this. But maybe they're like a Protestant and they think you're saying green because of Catholics.
Green, white, and orange. That's totally fair. $10. They said, thank you. I just want to say thank you for the amazing creativity and amazing laughs. Please don't stop making base videos. Oh, I read this one earlier, but it was a very nice thing to say, so I'm reading it again. How's that? Now, everybody, give me 2 seconds. Here's what I want to do. For those of you who don't know, for those of you who haven't seen what we're doing here, I'm just going to play a little campaign video that we made for Twisted Plots to help you guys understand what we're making and what we're putting together here. After over 600 animated videos, gaining 1 million subscribers and 250 million views, all with $0 spent on marketing, it is time for me to answer the question my wonderful audience has been asking for years. When are you gonna make something big? When are you gonna graduate to making shows and movies and that kind of thing? And the answer to that question is now. And with your help. I have been developing a comedy anthology series. It's a social satire. Each episode is over 22 minutes long and explores an insane and hilarious premise which conveys our values not through ham-fisted preaching like a lot of quote-unquote anti-woke shows have attempted, but organically through fun and engaging storytelling. The show has a conservative angle. You won't have to be conservative to enjoy it. That's why it's going to shape culture. These episodes all range in tone. The pilot's much goofier and zanier and more off the wall. Other episodes are darker and more serious with a dry sensibility. Others are somewhere in between. Now here's the thing. Animation is extremely expensive. I can't afford to fund this whole show out of pocket. For a little bit of perspective, an episode of The Simpsons takes 9 months and costs $5 million. For Family Guy, it's 6 months and it costs $2 million. South Park does each episode in a week on a $500,000 $2 million per episode budget, so they can hire a really big crew. But with tight budgeting, an extremely dedicated team, and the very efficient pipeline I've worked out over the years, we're going to be able to produce the entire first season of our show for less than the cost of 1 episode of South Park. In fact, we're going to be able to make our entire first season for the amount that it costs to make 1 South Park episode in 1997. Our entire season for $500,000. Now, I know some of you are asking, how? And others are asking, how? For each episode, we're going to need 8 to 10 people, myself included, working 40 to 60-hour weeks for about 3 months. Once you factor in payroll taxes, that $125,000 per episode budget works out to about $15 to $30 an hour, depending on the animator and their level of experience. Seamus, you did bad math, silly cartoonist. At $500,000, that's $100,000 per episode, not $125,000. Well, I guess you weren't counting on me putting my money where my mouth is. We've already made the entire first episode, and I paid for it completely out of pocket.
How much did you pay for it?
Well, actually, that's none of your business, but I can assure you, it certainly wasn't cheap.
It didn't cost $125,000. I wish I had that kind of cash to throw around. I'm not Tim Pool, okay? So we had to cut a couple of corners, and it took a good while longer to make than we want the show to, but it still turned out great. And we've already produced the first episode of our show without any outside funding. But now, I'm strapped for cash. I can't make this whole season out of pocket, which gives us the opportunity to make it together. Help me to make something good, something that takes the audience seriously, something that you'll be rewarded for contributing to, not just with a great show, but perks like artwork from the production, virtual premiere parties, getting put in as background characters, getting to watch the pilot as soon as you donate. It's not gonna be on YouTube for another couple months. Please come join us. This is our time. We don't have to wait around for big studios to decide to start to serve us or for big investors to put money into some conservative startup. We can do this now. I've got the equipment, I've got the team, and I've got the experience. Give me your support, and I will have everything I need. And that was our announcement video that we did to let everybody know that we were working on this show. I know that some people missed that, so I wanted to make sure that I was playing it right now in case anyone was confused about what we were doing, what the show was going to look like, how the animation was going to appear, since in our campaign video we actually had a couple of different little samples in there. So I'm going to continue reading through some of the chats. I'm going to keep engaging, and then what we're going to do is we're actually going to play some sneak peeks from the show. We're going to play like little bits of animation we've done for some of the episodes we're going to be producing. So I'm going to read a couple more of these. Mike E253 said, "Hey Seamus, I'm dabbling with Catholicism and was wondering what is your greatest argument for Catholicism as the true choice for Christians?" So, full disclosure, Caleb is not Catholic, so he might disagree with me here, but I'll answer your question, and then I also would, if you want to reach out to me privately, by the way, and chat about this, like shoot me a message on Twitter or something, let me know who you were. I'd be happy to chat with you about this. And by the way, people shoot me these very nice messages on Twitter and ask me about these things, and I don't always have time to get back because I'm so slammed, and I'm so sorry if you've sent me something like this and I haven't gotten back to you. But I'm going to do my best to get back to this one. So again, they said, "Hey Seamus, I'm dabbling with Catholicism, and I was wondering what is your greatest argument for Catholicism as the truest choice for Christians?" I think it was Hilaire Belloc who said that no institution run with such knavish incompetence could possibly survive for 2,000 years unless it was God's will. And that's one argument that I like to use in favor of Catholicism. I also think the gates of hell not prevailing against the church. I think that if you go back, there's like the robust arguments, and then there's like the back of the napkin arguments that you make. So when I first came back to my faith and started taking it more seriously, I did want to figure out what made the most sense. And obviously I believed in Jesus, and I wanted to make sure that Catholicism was correct because I did not want to go back into taking my faith seriously if it was the wrong one. So the like back of the napkin math that I did at the time was, well, Catholicism and Orthodoxy separated like 1,000 years ago, and there's a bunch of practices that they share in common, which means at least 1,000 years ago, Christians were doing those things, which means that people, like branches that aren't doing those things, probably had changes occur later on. And then the other series of arguments would just be, I guess, John 6, the Eucharist literally being his flesh and blood. I believe that the scripture is very clearly literal about that because of the way Christ reaffirms that statement when people are confused by it, instead of going, oh, it's just a metaphor. He says, no, like unless you literally gnaw, the Greek word there emphasizes the literalness of eating. And then everyone turns around and leaves. And he doesn't go like, oh, I see you guys like passed the test, or it was just a metaphor. He actually asks like, oh, you're not going to leave either. Like, will you two not leave? And the response is, well, only you have the words of everlasting life. And of course, the Catholic Church believes in transubstantiation and the real presence. That's another reason. And then there's arguments about the papacy, the Catholic magisterium. All I'll say about all that right now, because this is obviously a very big discussion, is the Catholic Church has 2,000 years of unbroken teaching, and the papacy is the single longest existing unbroken institution on the entire planet in all of history. So that is my like rough shot argument. Again, I'd love to chat with you about it more because obviously it's a big topic, and I don't know that I could do it justice right now, but thank you so much for your chat, and God bless you, and you're in my prayers.
Yeah. Yeah, now for balance, the counterpoint. No. I think my wife was raised Catholic, and I have a lot of, so now I have a lot of Catholic family, and I have never had a problem with, I think it's amazing being a Catholic. Just seeing it and everything, and seeing, how seriously her grandmother takes her faith and everything is something that, in my opinion, there's nothing bad that can come from taking your faith very seriously. So
beautiful. Thank you for that, man. Let me get this also. JSG 240 said, do super chats go to, oh, I already answered this, man. I'm sorry. So go to twistedplots.com to support Twisted Plots. The super chats here, we appreciate them. We will read your super chats, but it's difficult to parse through exactly what is for this and what is for Twisted Plots. And also, I think YouTube takes a cut of these super chats, whereas if you go to twistedplots.com, my understanding is more of that money goes directly to funding the show. It's a little difficult to parse through the super chats here. Sorry, yeah. Cool stuff. TF2 said, love the pilot. Since you guys use Discord, if you look up Freedom Tunes in the gift server, I actually uploaded the Biden Happy Walk cycle and the 2024 Wind Dance one too. Love the animation and can't wait to see the series. Thank you so much. I'm so glad you love the pilot. We worked really, really hard on it. Caleb definitely put a lot of hard work into that too. Caleb, do you want to talk about sort of what went into that and some of your thoughts on how the pilot turned out?
Yeah. So the pilot, like, even from the very beginning, Seamus was, passing me scripts and we were looking over stuff, and I went through, I made some comments, I made some notes, we sort of spitballed some jokes back and forth, and then really from there, a huge amount of the pilot, Seamus went through and did just an enormous amount of like storyboarding and getting that kind of stuff knocked out. And then from there, I have spent like honestly like the better part of the year. I would probably guess that like half of my work here this year was on Twisted Plots, just on that pilot. And obviously the whole team has put effort into it, and there is great work from all of our different team members. Some of whom who I saw in chat and everything, and everyone did like a really great job on it. But I did I spent like hours and hours and hours putting a lot of those scenes together.
Especially just in terms of the raw animation, you almost certainly spent the most time on the pilot of anybody.
Yeah, and even then, it's like there's a couple. If anyone's interested, I voice the chicken cultist priest for the people who watch. So that there's like maybe someone I don't remember if any other of my voices ended up getting in there, but
I think you made a chicken noise that ended up in there.
Yeah. And so I am very happy with how it came out, but I will say, and this is something that we have kind of talked about, is that I am happy with how it came out. The episodes that we're crowdfunding are going to look even better. They're going to look way. Yeah. I didn't want to say, I didn't want to, but they are going to look way better.
They're going to look way better. And it's not to say, listen, the pilot looks great. Like, I would say the pilot's really impressive because it's above the quality of Freedom Tunes a bit, and it was something that was being worked on almost as a side project. Like, it was not the whole team on it full steam ahead. Whereas with the other episodes, it's going to be a different story. It's going to be like a dedicated crew working on it as the primary project that they're working on. And so that's going to look really, really nice. The fact that the pilot all came together the way it was awesome. And this is funny. I mentioned earlier, I've sort of moved into more of like a writer, producer, and like directing role over the years. And I haven't done as much of the animation. Even initially I did almost all of it. And I've become less and less directly involved in the animation process over time. But because there was so much to do on the pilot and we were spread kind of thin and it was sort of this thing that people were working on in the background, I did jump in and animate a number of things. And there were a couple things I got to do like a little bit of frame by frame animation for, which was a lot of fun, which I really did miss doing. So I'm happy for even like those little moments that are in there, those like quick little shots. And I'm really, really excited to get the series funded because, like I said, the whole team's really going to flex their stuff on that. It's going to look fantastic. 101 Sailor fan said the birth control episode was the GOAT. You mean the birth control? Does anyone, by the way, if you guys want to request some voices, I'm happy to do a couple voices here and there.
I think you screamed so loud Discord cut your voice out.
Did it really?
Maybe.
I hope YouTube didn't.
Yeah. I bet it didn't, but for me it was just like silence.
I think I read this earlier about asking if I'd bring back the debunkers. We may or may not have some really exciting plans for the debunkers in the near future. Shane Wilder says, sorry, I was working and just hopped in. I'm glad you're halfway there. Would you say you're living on a prayer? I'll get my coat and see myself out. No, don't go. Stay. Here's the punishment for making that horrible pun. The punishment is you don't get to donate. I was going to say the punishment is you go over and you give us money at Twisted Plots, but actually that's a fun, exciting project to be a part of. So you, Shane H. Wilder, you take a step back and you reevaluate what you've done.
This makes me really laugh. They're asking for the Dr. Mac voice. What?
Isn't that how I already sound? Like, I feel like...
Isn't that's what I thought, It's sort of already, you're always doing the Dr. Mac voice.
Yeah, exactly, at all times. Welcome back. I'm Dr. Mac. In today's news, I feel like it's just me maybe speaking in kind of like a news cadence. I'm going to read some recent chats and then go back to the super chats. Do the Hollow Guardian Angel for the guy who kept asking. I think I might. Should I try it? I'll do it very quickly. I'll do one little one. I don't want to make a habit of screaming right now, but I will do one just for you, just this one time, all right? And I simply ask that you go over to twistedplots.com. okay, and give us some money if this is to your satisfaction. Hello! Say your prayers! Did that cut out on Discord?
It did. It
Okay,
did.
yeah, of course. Discord will cut my screams out, and sometimes I'll send the chat, like when we're working on a project, I will send a little audio recording of myself screaming, just screaming, berating people on the team. No, like sending little screams to people for like little voices I'm testing out, and then they literally can't hear it. I'm like, oh, that's right. Discord is anti-fun.
No, yeah, but they can hear it, which is good. Good to know that their thing is working just fine.
Samalam CWC. Oh, hey, I haven't. Samalam CWC would, or Sam I Am, used to chat in a lot when I was on Rumble. And they said, hey, Shimothy, can you keep my grandparents in your prayers? My grandma was put on hospice today. It was a difficult day. Yes, absolutely. I'm very sorry. I'm very sorry about that. We'll definitely say some prayers for your grandparents. I'll add them to my prayer intentions tonight. And anyone watching, please say some prayers for them. Hi, Seamus, big fan. Did you watch Clone High? I've never seen it. I've never seen Clone High, but I know it's referenced often. I know that that's a pretty big cult hit. Like, people seem to love it. And they love... It's funny because people are like... When I did the JFK voice in one of our videos, they were like, that's like the Clone High JFK. I'm like... he was an actual guy.
Yeah, it's actually how he actually
It's like
sounded.
how he actually talked in real life. Irregular. This is the person who chatted earlier and asked about spiritual fatigue. Thank you for the advice. I've been medically laid off. Expensive appliances are breaking, broken friendships and relationships, dealing with inadequacy, dismissive church. It's been hard on all fronts. Brother, I'm sorry to hear it. I'm really sorry to hear it. God bless you. You're going to be in my prayers as well. Seriously, you're going to be in my prayers as well. Just very sorry to hear that. If you feel your church is dismissive, I'm going to recommend a local Catholic church. Check it out. See how it goes. Pob Digims. Just under chat, thoughts on Al Berry, possible collab. Don't know if someone asked this already. I'm actually not familiar with Al Berry. This is funny because people will mention someone to me, and I'm not sure because listen, I live under a rock in certain respects, and so I'm not sure. Like, is this someone who I'm not aware of because I live under a rock or not? I'm like, and do I sound dumb saying I don't know who that person is? You know what I mean? Like, someone's like, who's this Ben Shapiro people are asking about? I've never heard of this guy. You know what I mean? I'm like, there's always a little bit of nervousness whenever I read a name I'm not familiar with. Like, do I sound like I'm not in the know? Someone asked, Riley Butts, inappropriate. 7369 said, have you considered doing a super edit of all your cartoons and maybe running a live stream every Saturday morning? Maybe a way to generate some passive income. God bless you and your family. That's a really cool idea, actually. That's a really cool idea. Like Saturday morning Freedom Tune stream where we do a bunch of reruns. That's actually kind of cool, man. I've never thought of that. I'm actually going to consider that. That could be really cool. How could we reach out to you? I'm having difficulty finding an email on your channel. Twitter DMs are open. Shoot me a message over there on olx.com. Let's continue to scroll through these. How many episodes? Super Fake Film says how many episodes are dedicated to the dancing dog. So Anti-Woke Dog is definitely going to, here's the thing. He's going to make an appearance in some future Freedom Tunes videos. There's no question about that. Where it gets a little tricky is how we're going to include him in Twisted Plots. I feel like there's room to work him into the background somewhere. Like, I feel like we need some kind of Anti-Woke Dog Easter egg at some point. Soria 79 says, you should do a line of skateboards with boonies with all your characters on them. At least the Tim Stan character should be on the board. Here's 10 helping the cause. God bless you. Thank you. I will ask Tim about that. That could be kind of funny if we did some cartoon characters on some of his boards. And then, oh gosh.
Oh, what? He said, what do I use if I don't have X?
Oh,
Talking about contacting.
that's tough because we don't have like, let me think about this. listen, just make a quick little Anon account and shoot me a message. I think I'm trying to think of other ways that you could reach out. And I feel like that's kind of the main way that we get fan mail from people. If you could do that, or you could yeah, I'm sorry. I think that's the main thing. Make a Twitter account and shoot a message to us. I'm trying to think if there's any other. I think that's pretty much it. Data to the Zero said, just sacrifice your unborn children to Satan like a real Hollywood producer. And if you ask real nice, he'll even throw in making you a real trans woman for free. That's how The Matrix got made. Well, I don't know about that. I don't know if that's how The Matrix got made, but what I will tell you is this. Part of why I am so glad that the crowdfunding infrastructure that exists today exists is because we don't have to make deals with these big and, let's just be blunt, evil studios to get content made. And we don't need executives breathing down our neck telling us what morals we can and can't promote. We are making the future of entertainment here because people are sick and tired of what they've been force-fed over the course of the last several decades, and they know it's been made by people who are hostile to them and their family and their values and their religious beliefs. So what I'm going to ask you guys to do is this. Go over to twistedplots.com, pledge $25, help us to create the future of entertainment. Help us to create a show that's going to spread a right-wing message, not through ham-fisted preaching, not through boring monologues, but through the story and through the jokes. Too many attempts to make right-wing entertainment have placed the message above the comedy, above the entertainment value, and above the story. In Twisted Plots, the values are going to flow through based on the way the story and the jokes are constructed. It's not going to be forced in. It's not going to be ham-fisted. It's going to be entertaining, and it's going to shape culture, but we need your help. Go over to twistedplots.com, pledge $25, get access to the pilot, help us make the future. Voss Boss asked Seamus 2028. Well, I won't be old enough to run for president in 2028, unfortunately. But if I was, obviously I would do it.
I think that's something that surprises a lot of people, actually. Is I think a lot of people don't realize how young you are, I think.
Yeah, I just turned 30. Dude, it was really funny. I remember I was on Timcast on my 26th birthday, and people were like, and I mentioned, I was like, oh, it's my 26th birthday. And people were like disturbed, and someone said, "How is he 26? How he doesn't look 26?" And someone responded, "Hard living." I was like, "Yeah, dude, that's me. I'm a wild animal. I'm just a crazy guy out there." That's hilarious. Yeah, hard living. I was like, "Yeah, that's me, man. You know, as cartoonists."
And that's the thing is, quite a few of us on the team are also pretty young. Like Seamus is not the youngest person on the team.
Not by far, no. I actually think only 2 people are older than me, right? Isn't no, actually maybe 3 now.
Yeah, 3, yeah.
I'm trying. Is Trev older than me?
I'm not. Maybe
he's the only maybe. Yeah.
Well, yeah. I think. Well, Amazon may be like a couple months older than you, honestly.
Really?
He might be a few months younger than you too, though.
Yeah,
I'm not sure. I think he's like right around there.
Yeah. Wow. All right. Well, that's true. Yeah. Everyone on the team is like really pretty young. With like some exceptions. I mean, like, but certainly a younger skewing team.
Josh thinks he's the oldest. Josh, we actually do have the Jaime is.
Yeah, I think Jaime's older than Josh.
Yeah.
Yeah. But not to out Jaime as being older than Josh. Maybe he didn't want people to know that.
Sorry.
I can't.
Well, he worked on like
ages. No, I know he's Jaime's a legend. He's worked on stuff from like way back when, and he'll just casually mention that from time to time. We're like, oh, that's right, you made everything before you worked with us. Somebody asked. Braden Reynolds 985. Seamus, love your work. How can I get more involved? Love to do VO stuff for you. I work for free. I've always wanted to do VO work. Shoot me a DM on Twitter. Again, I wish I had a cooler way for you guys to reach out to me, but just shoot a DM to me or the Freedom Tunes account on Twitter. I'd love to check it out. Pablo Gonzalez says, is your podcast show done or will you return? If you are referring to my hit podcast Shamer, which was hosted on Rumble. It's possible I may restart that podcast at some point in time. It's not canceled. It's just on an indefinite hiatus. And part of the reason it's on hiatus is because I'm trying to produce more media, right? I'm trying to make this show. I'm not going to get too into detail, but I've been working on other stuff in the background. I love podcasting. I love streaming. But we're also at a point where I don't think conservatives are making media which is very good. And I know that myself and my team can. So it seems like the best use of my time is to produce more animation as opposed to do live streams or podcasts. But like, I want to be clear, I love podcasting. And if I find the time for it, again, I would love to go back to doing it more. I really, really enjoy it. And like, I really love doing Timcast when I'm out there to do that. I just don't always have the time anymore because of everything we have going on and because we're trying to make this new show. And it's funny because whenever I'm not on Timcast for a little while, the rumor mill starts and I'll see chats that are like, I bet Seamus left over this, or like, why do you think he left? Or, and it's like, no, there wasn't like a specific reason. It was just, I had work to do. I had to go. If there's ever drama though, but if there's ever drama, don't worry. I'll make a whole live stream talking about it because you know me, I love drama and I love telling the public about my personal drama. I think that's the coolest thing anyone can do. I think when people make videos talking about drama that they have, it's the coolest thing. And I think, wow, what a cool guy. So if the opportunity for that happens, I'll definitely do it. And if the opportunity to start Shamer comes up again at some point, listen, that I actually will consider non-sarcastically because I really enjoyed that. And we had awesome fans. We have from somebody saying, War Shark Productions, hey man, love your content. Have you ever considered partnering with a Christian comic book company like Rippaverse or Ripascend to make a Twisted Plots comic spinoff to extend the series to more people? That's a really cool idea. That's a really cool idea, dude. I should talk with Eric about that. Eric July's the man, by the way. Eric's a friend. I've known Eric for years. I love that dude. I would be happy to talk about that. I hadn't considered that, but I feel like Twisted Plots could potentially work as a comic. And especially if we have ideas for episodes that wouldn't fit well into like a 22-minute long format to 25-minute long format, it might be cool to experiment with doing comics about that. I would love to chit-chat with Eric about that. That'd be sweet. Eric, if you're interested, I'll reach out to him. I moved from... Sorry, hold on a second. Okay, this person moved from Russia to America legally, and they love this country and want it to be great. God bless you. Thank you. And thank you for your donation. Someone said the $250 tier, mentioned the NDA. Is that going to be emailed out after the campaign concludes? Yeah, so based on your specific tier, we're going to be like reaching out and I'll talk with the campaign manager, but yeah, we've been like collecting emails and stuff, and so we'll find a way to get in touch with y'all and make sure that we're able to get all that sorted out. BOG Brand USA said, I can hook you up with a not property of Seamus laser engraver into metal or wooden spoons for higher level toners. I can even engrave the cartoons into them as well. We Catholic conservative Illinois boys got to start working together. God bless. Bro, send me a DM. Let's talk about that on Twitter. That's hilarious.
It is a shame about being from Illinois. I am sorry for your loss.
Listen, I get that a lot. But it toughened me up. Like that one guy who mentioned he left Russia. He's a Russian immigrant. That's like a little bit how I feel. I'm like, yes, I was in a communist area, but I got to say, it's one of those things where I do love the state, but it's a love-hate relationship. The government there is just horrifyingly bad. Just like horrifyingly bad, especially Cook County. Man, what a flippin' mess.
For whatever reason, I don't know why this is, but Illinois hate is especially popular here in Missouri. And then for whatever reason, Missouri hate is very popular in Kansas, also
Is
apparently.
that
So
true?
for some reason,
I didn't know
yeah,
that.
for some reason, whenever you're like in the Midwest and there's a state next to you, you just you just hate them.
It's so funny though because like from being from Illinois, I'm sure people in Indiana don't love Illinois because all the people leaving and making their state worse. But I love Indiana. I'm sorry to say I haven't spent much time in Missouri, Caleb. I wish I could give you guys more of a shout out, but you know, St. Louis is like great when you're not getting stabbed. That's a nice thing.
Sorry. I was cutting out for most of that, but I did come back in for when you said St. Louis is nice when you're not getting stabbed.
Yes, exactly.
Which
I think St. Louis might actually be more dangerous than Chicago. It's tough to say. I don't have the stats in front of me.
It's gone back and forth for sure, and there's definitely been. I mean, we were in the city last year, and we got our car literally for one night to go to a wedding, and we had our car broken into. So,
Dude,
and it was in a parking garage. Yeah, it was literally one night in a parking garage. They busted open the window, and the door wasn't even locked, so they just busted it open for no reason. So.
Oh my gosh. Just part of living in a big city. Shane H. Wilder says, I never said thank you for all the prayers for my priest with cancer last year. He passed away in February. You and Catholic cartoonists did so much. Well, God bless you. And I'm very, very sorry he passed. We'll continue to pray for his soul. And thank you so much for your chat. And with that, I think we've reached the end of the super chats. I can go back through and check again, but I just want to check what people are chatting in now. Have you been to South Dakota? I don't actually think I have been to South Dakota. I'm sorry to tell you. I left Maryland when I was a kid. I almost read I left my kid when I was in Maryland. I'm sorry. That's my mistake. I left Maryland when I was a kid for the same reason. West Virginia forever. 100% heard. I've spent a good chunk of time in West Virginia. And I love the place. It's beautiful. Bro, you ain't got 100 million, bro. That's true. I don't, but you guys can help get me to 500,000 so that we can make the first season of our show. Go over to twistedplots.com, donate, and you will get access to episode 1. What about Ohio? I've been to a lot of states actually. Sorry.
Can I say something about Ohio really quickly? This is
Go ahead.
It's just we drove to West Virginia, which by the way, beautiful state. We were there for a while. We visited DC, which is less beautiful, but we saw the Lincoln Memorial. We were driving back and we stopped in Ohio, and that was perhaps the scariest night of my life when we were in Ohio. It was like every step we took was like it was like a vacation with a bunch of friends. We all went away to our own hotel rooms, and we came back like 10 minutes later, and everybody had some weird story of something that had happened by that point. Like every single person was like, yo, I was in my room and there was like, I'm not joking, 100%. There was like a bullet hole in our door. And someone was like, okay, I was like in my room and I looked out the window and there was a guy standing out my side, like right outside my window, making eye contact with me.
Oh,
and it was like every person had a story like that where they were like, dude, this happened to me. Like they had a weird interaction with some person, or their room had some like major issue. And it was like, we were like, we got to get out of here.
I'm glad your friends are all alive, by the way, dude.
It was literally, it was at the tail end of this trip. We had a rental car where like the air conditioning broke, and it was like, yeah, every single thing that happened was like immediately everyone had a story about being there, and we were like, all right, we cannot stay in Ohio. I think it might have been Springfield.
I've got I actually have a kind of a similar story, and I found some other chats, and these are going to be fun ones actually. Someone asked me to break down the film Inception in a Jordan Peterson voice, and I will. But first, I was in Atlanta. As y'all know, I worked on a little cartoon called Common Sense Soapbox with the Foundation for Economic Education, and they're based in Atlanta. And I was just going to go meet with Sean to do a little bit of writing, and I booked I booked my own hotel. Like this has nothing to do with them. I booked my own hotel, and I booked it in an area that I was unfamiliar with. didn't know what kind of area this was. And so, and by the way, like when Fees had me out, they've put me in some very nice hotels. This was not them. This was like, I booked this myself thinking that this was going to be a good spot. So I get out of the Uber, and the Uber driver's like, "Do you know what kind of neighborhood this is?" I was like, uh-oh. Like, people usually, a great one, you know? Do people usually get you hyped up for a great neighborhood? Oh, it's amazing. You wouldn't believe it. People go apple picking in the middle of the night, and you can play outside. You can play basketball on the streets, or baseball outdoors, and no one gets hurt. And, like, I was like, oh, okay. No, that's not. And so, dude, I go in there, and I'm like, this place is not great. And I start reading reviews online, and one of the reviews is like, I found a crack pipe under the sink. The other was like, the police carried a body out of the hotel. And so part of the reason I booked this hotel was because it had a very high return rate, and it was very highly rated. Now, here's the thing about booking hotels. Here's some street smarts for y'all. People will return to a hotel many times if they go there for prostitutes. So certain hotels have a high rate of people choosing to stay there again. And when you look online, the service using will go high rate of return. But it's because they're like frequenting the hotel to do drugs or go to a prostitute, and not because, you know, they offered free breakfast. So just beware. That's part of the reason I picked, is it was so highly rated, but then I was reading the reviews, and it was like, yeah, there was a crack pipe and the bullet holes and break-in signs. But Caleb, you were going to say something. You go ahead, and then I'm going to read this. Do my
No, I was just going to say that, like, someone saying, do you know what kind of neighborhood this is? It can only end two ways. It ends with, like, you know, this is a terrible neighborhood, or like, this is the place where all the munchkins from the Wizard of Oz stay. You know, something like that. Like some weird, like, piece of lore about the area. It's like, oh, no, I didn't know. Like, that apparently, like, everyone who's in that area knows.
Or it's like both, dude. You're in the Munchkin ghetto. Is like, by the way, he's like, dude, if you're above 5 feet, this is a sundown town for you, bro. Like, the Munchkins will come after you. Like, chill, but get out of here as fast as you can. So, Wasted Space said, I'd like to hear you break down the philosophical underpinnings of Inception in the Jordan Peterson voice. Thank you for all you do, the whole team of Freedom Tunes. Well, thank you.
And it's like, man, so you might not realize it, but much of your life, it's like you're going around on autopilot as if it's a dream, and you never stop to think, what am I doing? What's the plan for my life? And so you make one little plan, but you don't actually put into action. And then you wake up and realize you haven't gotten anywhere. It's like, yeah, because that was one dream, bucko. So you go back to the drawing board and you think, well, maybe I'd like to try this because the last thing didn't work out. And so you start working at that. And then you get distracted, and before you know it, you're covered in Cheeto dust on your couch watching YouTube videos. And it's like, yeah, another dream, because you didn't actually try to do it. And before you know it, you're waking up in a series of other dreams getting shot at by Leonardo DiCaprio because you didn't sort your bloody room out, bucko.
I actually don't remember the plot to Inception, other than that there's a dream within a dream. That's all I remember.
That's pretty much it. Yeah. That's pretty much the plot. Yeah.
And it's like, man, you spin a top, and then the camera zooms in at the top at the end of the film, and it's like, that's right, man. Like, that's... Excuse me. I need a moment.
This West Virginia love forced me to pay cash money. Love you fellas. Country roads. I don't know the first reference. I didn't get the first reference. Opinion on guns, not just in the 2A case, but in the actual appearance and mechanical function of them. That's a good question. I think if your gun is black and can have attachments put on it, it's a scary gun and therefore should be banned. But if it has a wood stock, it's a good gun and shouldn't be banned. No, I don't know. I guess you're asking for, like, my personal taste. I can't, like, endorse any brands here, but I can just tell you personally, I love Beretta. I love a good Beretta. I try not to talk too much about firearms. And the reason for that is, again, just like privacy reasons. I don't even want to talk too much about. I try not to talk too much about like literally anything in my personal life or anything I own or anything like that, because there's a lot of lunatics out there, and like I don't know what they would do with any of that information. But that's the point, is like I don't know what they would do with any of that information. Little things will leak out there, and you go like, how are people able to extrapolate that about me from that information? And then you're like, I'm just never going to tell anyone anything ever again. Your cartoon is funny. Thank you. I appreciate that. The Second Amendment must never be removed. Agree. Based. Let me see. Smart roof. Seamus, completely understandable. Say hey, thank you so much. Yeah, you got to be super safe. I'm like excited. I'm like, we're going to have to show the preview soon, I think. I love you, Seamus. Thank you for everything you're doing to win the culture war. Well, thank you. And thank you guys for all of your contributions. I really appreciate the super chats. I appreciate the donations at twistedplots.com. If you guys could go over to twistedplots.com, pledge any amount, help us make this show to win the culture war. We cannot win the culture war without culture. We need people making good media. Let me look. You never read my chat. Hold on. Let me try to find their chat. I'm sorry if I didn't read your chat. Let me go through and try to find them. Caleb, would you mind saying some things while I go and try to find this person's chat?
Yeah, no problem. Yeah. Here, I'm just gonna read some of the chat. See. Can you do the Kamala Harris laugh they asked for?
That's the Kamala laugh, and that's really how she
Mr.
sounds.
It is kind of. You know what? I'll give it to you. You don't sound anything like Joe Rogan or Hassan, but you do.
That's true.
You do a good Kamala Harris,
and it's
good
funny, cause like
Jordan Peterson.
And it's funny because like I'm not even, I feel like with the Joe Rogan one, I'm not even trying to do. I would try to do his cadence and stuff, and for Hassan, I try to do his cadence. For Hassan, what I really did is just tried to sound as whiny and annoying as possible, and I think I nailed it. If I'm honest, like I think that was the best way to do an impression of him.
Well, it must have. We got all those all those TikTok views.
That's true.
So,
oh yeah,
yep.
That's true. Come on. Sorry, I'm searching for this chat right now. I want to make sure.
Oh no, you're good. Yeah. I'll just keep reading these. Is Hassan anything other than whining and annoying? Yeah, he's dumb. Okay. How would you draw Charlie Brown? Honestly, I think he would end up looking like Charlie Brown. I think if you looked at it, I think it would pretty much look exactly like it. Is anybody on your team from Cali? Yes, but I'm not going to say who.
Mm-hmm.
But yes.
Yeah, no doxing. But I found their chat. Dark History 1436 said, "Proud I donated to Twisted Plots. Hope this also helps. Glory be to God." Thank you so much. Thank you for your chat. I'm sorry that I didn't read this. I must have gotten flustered going through all of these, but thank you so much. Thank you so much for your chat. Let's go back over here.
Actually, really cool to see the person behind Freedom Tunes. It is. And Seamus does
like,
a lot. No! Yeah. Seamus does a lot animating all those cartoons by himself. But we'll cheer him on. It is a lot. It's crazy that he's doing that. If you're ever watching on Timcast, he's actually drawing the new episode while he's on there.
While I'm on there. Yeah. Well, this is one thing I want to help people understand is like, we do need a whole team to do Freedom Tunes. Again, when I started doing this, it was basically just me with a little help from some friends here and there, but basically just me. And it took longer to make the videos and the quality wasn't as high. And when I was on break from school, I would like try to make a bunch of videos to get them live and upload them at a decent consistency while I was away at school. But even then, we were mostly only able to do videos like every other week instead of once per week. And the animation quality was, again, like very low because it was just one person doing it. Freedom Tunes takes, I want to say between like 4 and 8 people working on every video for like a week to 2 weeks. It is a lot. There's a reason that pretty much nobody does animation on YouTube on like a weekly basis. But we have awesome fans, and you guys are able to help us keep the show going. And we are very excited to make our first full length, 22 to 25 minute, roughly, half hour long show. And if you guys go over to Twisted Plots and donate, you can support us in doing that. So Gollum Chef, but I don't know why it doesn't just show me your full name. Sorry, bud. Let me go over here and make sure I can give you the proper shout out that you deserve. Since YouTube decided to make it difficult. Oh, it's not letting me do it here either. Nice. Gollum Shelf, and it won't let me read the rest of your name. I'm sorry. Hi, new here. What are we doing? So, we are working on a full-length animated show, 22 to 25 minute long episodes roughly, and we're doing a crowdfunding campaign for it. We're already 50% funded. We have the pilot made. If you want to watch the pilot, go to twistedplots.com and support the show. And once we get the first season funded, which is going to be 4 more episodes, it's going to be a 5-episode season, we're going to be able to start working on producing the rest of the episodes. So we plan to begin production in January, but hopefully we might be able to start that earlier. The crowdfunding campaign is only actually running until November 13th, I believe. So time is limited. We're a little under halfway done with the campaign, and we have a little over half the money raised. But in order to keep the momentum up and in order to be able to make the show, we are going to need you guys to help support us and give money over at twistedplots.com. We're really excited for this show. I think it's going to be excellent. I think it's going to be a massive hit. I don't think anything like this has existed in conservative entertainment up until this point. I think a lot of what conservatives have made when it comes to the kind of half-hour-long show style genre has been like way too preachy and hasn't put enough emphasis on the comedy. And so we're really excited. Don't take my word for it. Check the pilot out. Go over to twistedplots.com to support it, and you'll be able to watch. And I think you guys are really going to enjoy it. And we're really, really excited about the other episodes that we're currently working on producing.
Yeah, I think I'm honestly really excited to be able to get cracking on those. Honestly, I have been even before we're fully funded, but
yeah, we've been working on like little test scenes and stuff, which actually we should probably show people in a minute. Do you think, guys, should we show a little preview of one of the upcoming episodes, like a little 1 minute long thing, just to give you guys a feel for what the animation is going to look like relative to Freedom Tunes? Here's the thing. All right. I'm going to need you guys to go over to twistedplots.com. We are at 52.59%. All right. Let's get over to like 52.65. And right now, I'm going to pull up, and in about a second here, I'm going to show you guys a little clip. All right, there we go. I think I'll probably show the clip from the second episode. I think that's probably the best one to show. And I'm about to get that booted up. All right, guys. Without further ado, here we are. This is a short, like 30-second excerpt from our second episode. Some of it's modified a little bit from how it's going to be in the episode, just because I had to tweak things to communicate the point more quickly. But you guys are going to see how awesome this animation looks.
I know this man. I've seen him at the bar. Book club. My book club, where I read books. Do you know him?
I've never seen him before in my life.
Me neither. I don't drink. I'd better alert his family. Hello,
So that's just a little excerpt. That's a short little excerpt from the second episode. As you guys can see, animation's a lot more fleshed out. We have some really awesome looking lighting in there. The character designs are a little bit different from Freedom Tunes, though the style's generally similar. And the animation is a lot smoother. It's a lot more fluid. So if you guys want to help make this a reality, go over to twistedplots.com, donate. You'll get access to our first episode, the pilot. The clip you just saw is from the second episode. and I really think you guys are going to enjoy it. We have storyboards actually for a good chunk of that episode you just saw clips from, and some audio for. And yeah, I'm really excited with how all that's coming along. And somebody just said, by the way, so, hold on a second. I want to read. There was a funny chat that I got. Someone said, "Yay! It looks and sounds amazing. Thank you so much. Dang, looks like a budget increase for sure. 100%. Yeah, that's part of why we're asking for the amount that we're asking for, because even though it is considered low budget in the animation world, I mentioned this, like the first South Park back in 1997, with as simple as that animation was, that cost $250,000 per episode, and that was in 1997. Adjusted for inflation, that's over $500,000 per episode, and that's for really simple animation. We're going to be able to make the remaining 4 episodes in our first season for $500,000, so that works out to about $125,000 per episode, and that money is basically spent hiring a team of between 7 and 10 people for roughly 3 months. So, I think after payroll, taxes, and everything, that works out to roughly $15 to $30 an hour, depending on the animator and the level of experience. And for that price point, with the way we've budgeted and built our pipeline out, like, that's the kind of look we're going to be able to get. It's going to look a lot nicer than Freedom Tunes. It's going to look really, really, really solid. And I'll show you guys some other clips in a little bit here that I think you'll enjoy. When is the first episode going to be out for free? We don't have an official release date. I'm thinking it's going to be a little while. I think I can't make a specific promise about the date. I know it's likely to be after the campaign ends, probably December, January, but we want to figure out the best way to release it to get the most visibility, to boost the show as much as possible, to attract the largest audience for it. So there's a couple things we got to figure out. Someone said, "I wonder how he does Chaz." Oh, golly. Oh, do you guys want to ask any questions to Chaz? If anyone in chat wants to talk to Chaz, he's here right now, so feel free to ask him a couple questions.
Yeah, that's awesome. We should do like those old, when you used to be able to like call, and it was like, you could talk to Santa Claus on the phone and they would charge you by the minute. I bet if we did that with Chaz, it'd be nonstop.
That's hilarious. Someone said we got some really cool chats. I wanna before I get to the Chaz stuff, someone asked, will there be bloopers? With animation, like, there might be outtakes, but you don't really have bloopers with animation since it's not live. Book club, the audio is so clear and crisp. I'm glad you think so. The tease is crazy. I'm going to start saying I'm going to the book club. Why is the detective so vehement about not drinking? You're going to have to see the episode, guys. You're going to have to support the show at twistedplots.com and help get this episode made. Dang, looks like budget increase for sure. Thank you. Yay, it looks and sounds amazing. Thank you. I contributed. First episode is great. Thank you so much. I'm really glad that you enjoyed that. Hey, Seamus, I wanted to tell you I loved your indie pilot and was excited to donate. Thank you. I wanted to ask how you think your indie show will stick out from other indie shows. I like Space King. So, I don't know the Flash Kids guys. I've never spoken to them. But I know some people who have worked on their stuff. We've had people who did a little bit of work for us in the past, I think, even do some things for them. They are, what they're making is really cool. I haven't seen every episode. I've seen different clips from it. The animation's awesome. They have a very unique style, and all the jokes I've seen from it have been very funny. In terms of how our show is going to stand out from other indie animation, I think firstly, the fact that it's an anthology series makes it stick out. You don't really get anthologies in animation that often, because one way that you're able to cut down on budget and make animation more financially feasible is by reusing characters from episode to episode. And so an anthology series is actually more difficult to pull off, but it is what we feel we're called to make here, and it is going to make what I think is the best show for us to make right now. So that's one way it's going to stand out. You're going to have a lot of unique episodes and interesting concepts. Again, you saw the animation there. I think it looks really great. We have the benefit of Freedom Toons being a long-standing brand. And so even though the animation here is nicer than Freedom Toons because we beefed our budget up, we have a pretty consistent pipeline. So we have a stronger sense of how the visuals are going to look. I don't think we're going to have the same kind of season 1 weirdness that a lot of animation shows have, even on television. The method and the pipeline and the visuals are already way more fleshed out. So I think it's going to be a very professional feeling product compared to a lot of indie animated shows. I think that's going to help it stand out. I also think the writing, I think it's just a very unique show. Nothing else like this exists. It's this cool animated anthology that communicates a right-wing message through the story and through the jokes rather than ham-fisted preaching. And so, you have shows like Twilight Zone or Black Mirror, which do a different story every single episode, but usually the values that they promote through their story or the kind of cautionary tale that they're creating to warn you against specific behaviors don't really line up necessarily with our values. That's probably different for Twilight Zone because that was made a while ago and our culture was a little bit more together at that point. And it's not to say the moral of every Black Mirror episode is necessarily bad or anything like that, but I think like a right-wing animated anthology show is really going to stand out for sure. I hope you Unwanted Ghost says I hope you collab with DJ Delay and Asmongold TV. I don't know DJ Delay. I've seen some Asmongold stuff. He actually watched our Hassan Piker video, which was really cool. If Asmongold ever wants to chat, more than open to it. Another thing that I think is really going to help us stand out is just the quality. Like there's a unique comedic sensibility that we have as a team, and I think that's really going to shine through in the show. I know I keep saying this. I think you guys are really going to like it. I think it's going to be a hit. We're very, very excited about this. Let me check out some more of these chats. Someone said your first episode will be like Invincible season 1. I've never seen Invincible. I've seen moments of it.
I've been trying to work that one over. I've been turning that over in my head. I'm not sure what that means.
Well, I can tell you this. We already do have the first episode done. If you want to watch it, you can see it at twistedplots.com. The subsequent episodes, which we're working on getting funded right now with the crowdfunding campaign, those are going to be a significant step above the first episode in terms of animation quality. Because the first episode, I had to fund out of pocket, and we were also sort of working on it in the background while we had other projects going on. This series of 4 episodes is going to have a fully dedicated budget. So if you guys believe in what we're doing, you want to take the culture back, you're sick and tired of the film and television that you consume or that's available for you to consume being produced by people who hate your family, they hate your way of life and hate your values and are slowly chipping away at your culture, go to twistedplots.com and check it out. Give $25, watch the pilot. You guys are really going to enjoy it. You're really going to enjoy this show. And I believe you're going to be very glad to be a part of the production of this show. You're going to be very glad that you were able to finance something that's going to have the impact that this is going to have. Someone asked, have you seen Smiling Friends? Of course. Yeah, of course. I mean, again, Zach Hadel's not someone I know personally, but just a very, very, very talented guy. Really, really talented guy. Very, very funny. Just very effortlessly funny too. When you
he was a big
podcast.
He was a big inspiration for me, and I think some other people on the or at least one other person on the team. I think was sort of inspired by him. And he even back in the day, he's also really supportive of like small artists. I know back in the day, I did a little tiny bit of an animation, just like a little work in progress thing for something from one of his podcasts. And it was literally just a little work in progress thing, but I tweeted out that I was like working on it, and he like liked it and retweeted it, and I got like tons of traction on Twitter. Like it was one of my most like popular things I'd ever made at the time, and it was like from a nobody account, no followers, anything. So he's been very cool from the small amount I've interacted with him. And yet they also mentioned that Charlie's Catholic in that show, which is
that's hilarious. Yeah, that's right.
Because he does wear a crucifix sometimes and stuff like that. So yeah.
I think he pray. Yeah, exactly. I think he like.
He actually does.
He does pray Catholic prayers, and does he become Catholic because he went to hell and then came back, or was
So
he always Catholic?
He wears the crucifix before then, but he says the prayer afterwards, which leads me to think that he was
interesting. Yeah, like he actually
which yeah,
began to take his faith more seriously.
right, more
which
seriously,
makes
right
sense.
after he.
We got asked the most important question imaginable: Sheamus Fortnite skin when? That's a good question. I'll have to see if Freedom
Did you
Tunes
know-
times Fortnite would go so hard. That would go so
Did you know
hard.
that we can have an affiliate code? Did you know about this?
What?
That, like, if you go to Fortnite, if you just go to Fortnite and say like, "Hey, this is how many followers I have," you have to have barely any, and they'll just give you an affiliate code.
Really?
And then you can just tell people, "Hey, go to the Fortnite shop with like code Freedom Tunes," and then you'll get like a kickback from it.
That's hilarious. Do
And
we
it's
need
like,
to
for
get
some reason
a Fortnite code?
For some reason they do it for like anybody. Like Frogan used to have. This is what's really funny. Frogan used to have a code, and then she lost it because I think she like dipped below or something, like for whatever reason. But yeah, to be fair, the funny thing about the code is it does absolutely nothing for the people putting in the code. They don't get like a benefit from it. It literally just gives us a kickback.
That is actually really funny. Like it's not like a discount or something.
No, it's just like, hey, if you want to give us money when you buy Fortnite items, you can do that if you want.
Hilarious. Someone, the AFKers community asked, will it be PG-13 on themes and dialogue or more PG, you think? That's a good question. Like maybe PG, maybe PG-13. It's probably going to depend on the episode. How would you rank it, Caleb? It's a little bit tough to say, and obviously we can't, like, we don't have an official MPAA or FCC rating or anything like that, but I think in terms of the subject matter, I would say I would say leans PG, but there might be like some PG-13 subject matter.
It's not going to have anything crazy in it, but it is going to be kind of one of those things where it's like, I think that in terms of content, I think it's going to be enjoyed more by a PG-13 audience.
Well, because it deals with some like philosophical stuff, and
and it's like, and even some of the stuff like, there's a few subjects that it's like I don't even know if it's not even like it's inappropriate, but it's just like completely maybe like unrelatable to a kid. There's
like
definitely certain stuff. Yeah, there's definitely certain stuff that I would probably like even stuff in the first episode. There's like maybe like a line or two that would probably end up. I'm actually not sure.
I think a lot of the line. I actually think. Listen, I have no idea. I think the first episode would probably be rated PG. Probably. I can't say that. I have no idea. I genuinely have no idea. But yeah, like there's going to be jokes or subject matter stuff here and there that might be more for like older audience, older kid audience. I don't know. You're gonna have to. I guess you'll have to judge for yourself as a parent, which I always encourage people to do. It's not like South Park or anything. There's not like nudity and there's not like a bunch of crass sexual humor or anything like that. It's pretty. That's why like it takes the audience seriously and talks about some more adult things. Like I wouldn't say it's a kids show, but it's not super edgy if that's what you're asking.
Mentioned Nostalgia Critic in a video once. Someone said that.
Did we mention Nostalgia Critic?
I guess we must have. I don't remember mentioning him.
We have on the podcast. It's so funny because Nostalgia Critic has come up a lot on our paywall podcast, and I try to discourage it just because I don't want people to think we're like aping Oni Plays or something like that. Which is kind of funny that it feels to me like Oni Plays owns Nostalgia Critic on some level now because they've talked about him so much. But yeah, I would not be surprised if there was some kind of Nostalgia Critic reference at some point.
I would not be shocked. I'm going to a Halloween party tomorrow as Nostalgia Critic. So if you need
Are you serious?
Yeah, I am.
That's amazing.
I was showing people my like Amazon order and I was like, hey, guess what I'm being for Halloween? And it was like black cadet cap, red tie, like fake glasses. And they were like, oh yeah, I wonder.
That's hilarious. Well, you'll have to send him an image. That's a great costume. In the straw man debate about gender, just call me blah. In the straw man debate about gender, the number 6,840,942 is used. Is there any significance to that number? If not, may I use that number to designate my fan universe? No, that was a totally random number. And what is designated a fan universe? Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead and use it. Not a single spoon is safe. You know me. You know I would never do that. That's my only response to that. I've never stolen any spoon from anyone. It's a false and negative, and I would even argue malicious accusation that's been leveled against me here. I'm tempted to show. People forget that PG-13 can be for as little as frightening images. It doesn't have to be swearing or worse. Oh, interesting. Yeah, interesting. That's also part of why I say I could never tell you, because I think like PG-13 and PG are official ratings, and I don't even know if you're allowed to say like, yes, this is, especially if you haven't gotten an actual rating. I don't think you're allowed to say like, yes, this is this rating or this is that rating. That's my hunch.
Well, that's the interesting thing about being in, doing independent stuff is the ratings board will have these random, very specific, very like, it'll have these like very specific notes about things that you would never even realize was something that was going to bother somebody, or something that could be like whatever to somebody. So it can be hard because our show might be in like 90% of ways like PG, and then if it were a network show, it would be really easy to like make it PG. Like, if we got notes back from them and they were like, hey, you have to change this one thing. But like, for all I know, it could be some situation where, there's like two things in an episode that suddenly by their standards, like gets it an R. I don't think so.
That's what's crazy.
But,
so this is the thing about that whole rating system is I have seen children's shows on cable television, and every now and again there's some viral controversy where like a little kids show will show children a homosexual lifestyle, but then if I were to like have a character go, that's gay, it almost certainly would not be allowed on a children's program. So the whole rating system is just bizarre, is what I'm trying to get at. It's bizarre. And so it's really hard, especially for an outsider, to say this would be rated this or this would be rated that. Someone asked, why does Chad always look so tired? Well, because like, golly, no one really understands how hard it is to like work in the media. And like, it's especially hard when you're working with oh golly, I hope he doesn't see this, but it's especially hard when you're working with a host like Dr. Mac, because he can be like a little bit of a diva. Oh golly, forgive me for saying that. Oh, and I'll have to go get his coffee for him, even though I also do all the research and writing. Oh gosh, it's very upsetting. We need Freedom Tunes power scaling. I want to see who's more powerful between Chaz and the Egghead Bros. Maybe we do need Chaz and the Egg Bros to like have some kind of interaction at some point.
I think the only characters who have power scaling feats are like the Hollow Angel is definitely a high power level Freedom Tunes character.
That's 100% correct. Yes, the Hollow Angel is very high level. That is very high level. Dark History 1436 asked, "Hey Seamus, how many on your team are Catholic?" We've got a couple Catholics on the team. Not everyone on the team is Catholic. We've got a number of Catholics on the team. The AFKers community said, I got some Naked Gun vibes from the clip you showed. Are you a fan of David Zucker or that kind of humor? I haven't seen that much from David Zucker, so it's hard to say if I'm a fan of that kind of humor, but I definitely like oddball humor, if that's what you're asking.
I will say I love Zucker brothers and Zucker, Abrams Zucker. And I think that for anyone who hasn't seen Police Squad, the TV show is really good and you should watch it. And there is some stuff that is really funny that is stuff they like you know what? That's such a cliche. I was going to say they couldn't do it today. I shouldn't say that's bad. I was going to say that for real. But it is really good. It is, if anyone hasn't seen that, I saw someone asking if our show would be appropriate for 6 or 7 year olds. Twisted Plots. I would probably say,
yeah, I would say no. I wouldn't show it to like a 6 or 7 year old. Here's the thing: at some point down the line, I would be interested in making something for little kids, but I don't think it's going to be something like a 6 or 7 year old should watch. Here's some other questions. There's because like even the first episode, there's nothing like that I think is crazy or outrageous or anything like that. And like I said, we don't get too crass, but just some of the subject matter is probably like not for like a kid that little. And in our second episode, there's our second
Did
episode.
they
I think
ask?
it's a really
Hold
good
on,
exploration. Yeah, sorry.
dude. Did they ask that because of 6-7?
Oh my gosh, dude.
The chat is all saying
Oh,
6-7 now.
no.
I think I got
Oh,
dude.
no.
I
Oh,
can't
no.
believe I got like
We
that.
did get got, bro.
Oh,
Hey guys,
my-
but
we-
let me tell y'all something. If you go over to twistedplots.com, you'll see that we're at 52.61. Let's get this up to 52.67. You know what?
That's
We're actually at 263 right now. Let's get that up to 267. How committed are we to the bit? That's the question. How committed are we to 6-7? People execute order 6-7. Let me check out some of these other chats. Someone mentioned their chat fell through the cracks. Johnny D, I found you. Johnny D 6335. Have you seen Dungeon Soup? What do you think? I'm sorry to be anticlimactic after finally finding your chat, but I've never seen it, so I can't give my thoughts. Bog Brand USA, cool idea. Post images of characters you want to use and have people send in voice clips of a phrase you provide to audition. I think a lot of people would volunteer just to be a part of the culture. That's an interesting thought. We're going to be designing the episodes or the characters, I think, as the episodes come along. But shoot Twitter DMs and stuff if you guys are interested in auditioning or anything like that. I plan on probably doing a lot of the voices in-house, and part of that is just because it's really difficult to coordinate with people far away, especially when you're on a tight deadline. Like this has happened with Freedom Tunes, where we do these cartoons on a weekly basis and people will help with voices, but it's like, oh, the video goes up in 3 hours and we need a vocal change. And they're like, I'm at work, I can't do that. So you can encounter issues when you're dealing with the voice actors who aren't in-house. But listen, send auditions in because this is a longer thing. This is a bigger show and we will have more foresight about what changes are going to be ahead of time. So it actually might make sense to have some other voice actors on it. So like I mentioned, shoot some auditions over at Freedom Tunes, or I'm sorry, on Twitter. Freedom Tunes on Twitter. We're gonna here. I want to see. I want to check out a couple more of your chats. Oh, right. Hollow Angel was strong enough to defeat single women when she was young, and she was strong enough to send someone to the Shadow Realm. Does he defeat her at some point? I can't even remember.
Who did they say he defeated?
The single woman. Because remember the single woman sent that woman off to the Shadow Realm for asking her when she plans on having children?
Oh, yeah.
So, I believe Hollow Angel defeated her. She's
Well,
pretty
I think the truth is that Hollow Angel's a lot like Bible Man for all the all the Bible Man fans in chat who he gets his power from God, so it's kind of an unbeatable character.
Exactly. Unless in God's permissive will decides he wants him to get beat, like maybe the Hollow Angel needs to learn humility at some point. So
that's true.
God
That's true.
withholds certain graces, and then the Hollow Angel fails at something. Which character is the most powerful? It's got to be the Hollow Angel, right? Seamus, we can barely hear you. I turned it back up. Can you guys hear me now? There we go. I think we're better. Hollow Angel, guys, he's for sure the most powerful. Like he's in his power scale is like legendary and total. It's almost immeasurable. Hollow Angel is the Catholic Bible man. That's hilarious. Someone said, am I helping us get to 69% complete percentage? Also, can I hear your best Rick Sanchez and Morty impression? All right, so we want to get to 67% completed. Go to twistedplots.com, donate. You'll get access to the first episode. You'll be helping us to get the show made. Am I about to here's the thing. I will just for you, I will debase myself by doing a Rick and Morty impression, okay? As Reddit as that is. But I'm not going to let you see me while I do it. That's all right. You ready? Ready? All right, Caleb. Give me, you know what? I think I can even just do this. Give me a Rick and Morty scenario, Caleb.
Okay. Morty accidentally got engaged to an alien on a planet because it's their culture, and then he realizes that it was Rick who officiated the wedding so that they could get something.
Oh, okay. Oh, gee, Rick, you'd really just use me like that to like get engaged? Oh, Morty, you gotta see the bigger picture, Morty. I needed to get the plutonium C3 from them. Oh, that was so important, Rick. You're gonna have me get engaged, go off with someone for the rest of my life. Morty, try to see the bigger picture. You're being selfish, Morty. Selfish. You're really unbelievable. But what does that plutonium C37 even do anyway? I need it for my remote control, Morty. I can't change the Roku channel unless we have it, Morty. You had me get married for a stupid Roku battery. Oh, gee, Rick. You've done some bad things, Rick, but that's really bad. Morty, I don't care, Morty. I'll be honest, I just don't care, Morty. Just get divorced. There. That's my Rick and Morty impression in that scenario. Seamus is like half the volume. What? I thought I turned my volume back up. What'd you think of that? What'd you think of that one, Caleb?
I thought it was pretty accurate. Yeah, I think they would have probably mentioned the divorce statistics and said
don't you know half of
last.
Oh no, I can't. Yeah. Exactly. Rick would go, I'm like embarrassed to be seen in public doing a Rick and Morty impression. Hold on, it would be Morty, 50% of divorces end in marriage anyway. Morty, you think these remote controls have a 100% chance of working, Morty? Think about the statistics. It's science, Morty. It would be something like that. Needs a better burp for Rick. How dare you? Heinz and Shane once again. On the fly, too. The burping. LOL, 5 stars. The volume's in and out. Oh, interesting. I wonder why the volume's cutting in and out. If someone wants to clip this Rick and Morty bit, I will animate it. All right. So Caleb's got to drop in a second here, and I'm probably going to have to sign out relatively soon as well. But I just want to thank you guys so much for all of your support, and yeah, I'm really excited to make this show. Let me read some more of your chats. Caleb's about to sign out. Caleb, you just want to have any closing words for everybody?
Yeah, everyone. Seriously, this show, I am super excited for it. It's and like just bigger and better things from Freedom Tunes. Like again, I've been working with Seamus for. Like we said, I mean, it's been at least 6 years, probably more like 8 years. And this is the most excited I have been to work on stuff like ever working on this. This stuff is so exciting. I really hope you guys love it. And honestly, I know you guys will love it if you get to see it. I really think this is going to be a huge step forward for the company. I think this is going to be a huge step forward for like conservative entertainment. And I'm so honestly, everyone who's already the Protestant is okay. Everyone who is already donated, like, thank you so much. Thank you so much. It's, we're beyond grateful, and I know that Seamus cannot like communicate how grateful he is for all of this. No, it's crazy to have this kind of support, and like it's crazy to know that like where we were when I first joined and where we are now. It's just like a crazy place, and like it's so excited. So all right, thanks so much, guys.
Thank you so much for joining, brother.
Yep, no problem, anytime. All right,
appreciate all your help. Did you hear that spooky Halloween sound that Discord made when I hung up on him? Wow, so spooky, so cool. Yeah, that was Caleb. Caleb's the absolute man, dude. Caleb crushes it. Freedom Tunes would certainly not be what it is without him. And we have grown a lot since we started working together. And we listen, we're very passionate about what we're doing here. This show's going to be incredible. We are very dedicated to making a great product for you guys. Someone asked, who is he? So Caleb and I have been working together. For those who don't know, I'm not able to do all the animation by myself anymore. And Caleb has been working with me for like, I think maybe 8 years at this point, 6 to 8 years. It's been a while. And since like 2021, he has been the leading force behind almost all the animation on the videos. Like he has been, I've been doing the writing and acting and like editing, timing stuff. I've jumped in and out of that. I still do some of the animation sometimes, but as far as like holding down the fort goes, so that I'm able to focus on writing, voice acting, running the business, doing podcasts to promote the show. Like Caleb has held the fort down animation wise for years now. So just really an unsung hero, awesome guy. And I couldn't do it without him. That's for sure. I could not do him without him. Would love to see you on Animators React. I'd love to check it out. So yeah, Caleb's the absolute man. And we love him. So hold on a second. Love is just brain chemical. It's true. Rick and Morty. At Freedom Tunes. Sorry, I'm gonna keep scrolling around. Needs a better burp for Rick. How dare you? I thought the Rick burp was phenomenal. Oh gosh. What the heck? That's wrong. Let's give one more refresh so I can see if I've missed any of y'all's super chat. By the way, you guys have been extremely generous. In I really appreciate every penny that's been given so far. It's really humbling. We basically at this point, we've got to a bit over halfway our goal for the show, which means that we've got 2 episodes funded, which is incredible. Which is like actually incredible. Let me get some more of your questions. Let me see. Fan funding. The conservatives need more institutional control. Yeah, I hear you. But part of taking back the culture and part of winning the culture war is literally just making media, making good movies, making good TV shows. That's what we're on course for. I mean, we've been making these cartoons for 11 years now, and it really is time for us to step out and make something larger, but we can't do that without your help, which is why we have this Give, Send, Go set up. So if you go to twistedplots.com, you contribute any amount, you'll be able to see the pilot, and it's going to be an absolutely massive help. And I just want to thank everyone who supported so far, and I want to let you guys know that this can't be made without people like you. Someone asked why crowdfund instead of looking for investors. There's a lot of reasons. So firstly, we have done this independently for 11 years now. We have no plans of not doing this independently. I think that there have been a lot of people who have invested in making conservative content, and unfortunately, a lot of it hasn't turned out well. This is the kind of thing that I believe the artists behind it need to be completely in control of if we want to produce something that's good and something that doesn't just come off as pandering or something that is only going to reach a conservative audience. It's not to say I'm totally closed off to the idea of any investors investing in any project that I do at any point in the future, but especially for this, especially for our first project where we're going to be defining ourselves as a studio making longer form content, it needs to be something that we have full creative freedom on. And it also needs to be something that you guys are a part of. If there's anyone I want to be accountable to, if there's anyone who I want to get feedback from on these things, if there's anybody whose ideas I want to take into consideration, it's going to be people who have been watching the show, people who are audience members. And so if you go over to twistedplots.com and support us and you get to see the pilot, feel free to shoot me messages on the pilot. I can't make any guarantees, but the reality is I do take audience feedback seriously. I want to know your feedback. I want to be in a position where I'm able to make a product that works for you guys as well. And my concern is, if we get some big investors involved, then they're the ones who get the final decision-making power. Whereas if we're doing it this way, it's totally grassroots. Good Emperor said, wow, what's this? So for those who are late to the party or don't know or just joining, we're making a full-length animated show. We're going to do 22 to 25-minute long episodes roughly. And the goal is to get our first season funded. We already made the pilot episode, and you can go watch the pilot if you go to twistedplots.com and donate. And if you go there and donate, you'll be helping us to fund the next 4 episodes of our first season. So we're doing a 5-episode season. It's an animated anthology show. And I think you guys are really going to enjoy it. So go over to twistedplots.com and check it out. Someone said, Hey, Seamus, any worries about online reception? I know people. How often are live streams? We almost never live stream. It's been a long time. I used to live stream in the past. It's been a while since I've done it because not everyone in the audience knows that we're making this show. I figured that it would be good to do a live stream to tell them. We did upload a video about it, but I know that not everybody saw it. So I want to keep getting the message out. I want to let you guys know how you can help, how you can support, and give you a heads up about the fact that we're making this really cool thing. Sebastian Barella says, hey, Seamus, any worries about online reception? I know people will be negative no matter what, but if it makes it to big people in cartoon reviews are sure to talk about it. I'm always scared about my art. Oh, man, you can't worry about that. You can't worry about what other people are going to say. You just got to make the best project that you possibly can. And so, I mean, listen, on Freedom Tunes, like, the reception we get is overwhelmingly positive. I mean, I think our average upvote is like 98 or 99%. And so I'm not super worried about reception, but yeah, they're going to be left-wing people who hate it. There's certain people where you just got to understand that them not liking it is a good thing. And once you recognize that, once you internalize that, it's like hard to really get upset about any feedback that you get online. So this is a show that I do think is going to appeal to a broader audience, but yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if left-wing people still hate it. The goal is to make it undeniable so that even they have to admit it's good, but if they don't, who cares? Like, if they don't admit that, who cares? Seamus, Tim Cool. Seamus, awesome job so far. Keep sharing the Twisted Plot site. And once I can boost my amount to a higher tier, thank you so much. Thank you so much. And Good Emperor, by the way, twistedplots.com is where you can go to support. What are your thoughts on AI? Please answer me. Sure. So here's my thoughts on AI. I don't feel great about it overall as a technology. I'm concerned about what it's going to do to the economy. I feel there's something just vaguely creepy about it too. That could also be because it's in its infancy and hasn't worked out this sort of uncanny valley problem that it has. So I want to do the animation for this the old-fashioned way, and that's what we've budgeted for. Like, we're gonna have a team of artists working on this, and that's why I want the animation to be done. I don't want AI to displace animators. That's a little bit of a concern. I've seen some of the animation stuff it's done, and it's not quite there yet, but maybe at some point in the future it will be. I would still rather work with actual animators, and that's the ideal vision, and that's the goal. And so, hopefully this continues to grow. People are able to watch this, and you guys love it as much as we love making it, and you guys are as excited about it as we are. Well, AI will make overall life like the first Hunger Game. AI is soulless. Yeah, I totally hear that. That's, hey, man, we're doing it the old-fashioned way. Beautiful. I do think it has the potential for better things if used properly, such as doing mundane tasks for people so they can put more work on the complicated stuff. That's how I feel. When people ask about AI, my thought is like, I don't want AI to be doing the actual creative work for people, but I could see there being some very helpful AIs that do things that are less creatively involved. So let me give you an example. Here's what I don't like. The AI is scouring the internet and taking a bunch of people's intellectual property without their permission and without any royalties, and then making something new all by itself that no willing artist had any input on. I don't like that. Now, here's what I do like. Here's what I would like. Some kind of AI algorithm that can do things like go through the project file that you're working on as an animator and color certain things in for you. That's a part of the process that once you know how you want it colored in and you tell the AI how, there's no more creative decision making made, or not significant creative decision making being made, and it could be, passed off to that. That is the kind of thing where I think it could be interesting, but I don't like the idea of AI doing the actual creative work. Like AI cleaning up frames or something is maybe different. Someone asked, is this considered an indie show? I suppose it will be considered an indie show. Do you ever do your voices on the fly to the situation, then make yourself or others laugh? I make myself laugh, and then no one laughs with me. It's very sad. I'm an animator with almost 20 years of experience in the field. Please hire me and save me from working on woke projects. I can't take this anymore. Brother, shoot me a DM on Twitter. I'd love to talk with you. Someone asked, have you ever thought of making a video game? I can't say too much because there may be a very cool top secret project that I've been working on in the background, but I don't know. I can't say that much else. I've worked on projects for Nickelodeon, Cartoon Network, Discovery Kids, Netflix, and others. I know everything about Adobe Animate and Toon Boom. Brother, send me a message, please. Send me a message on Twitter. Man, guys, this has been a blast. So I'm late, so I don't know if I missed this already being said. But did you see Kirsch's offer to VA, and would you consider giving her a role? I'm not. Are you talking about the super chat I got earlier? I'm not familiar with that person, but again, shoot me DMs on Twitter, and I'm happy to look into all of it. If you write a book, I'll buy it. You're too kind. It would be wild if Twisted Plots ended up on Legacy Media. Hey, who knows? Like right now, it's a web thing, but you know, maybe someday if they did want to reformat it for television or something, that could be really, really cool. All right, guys. So I want to thank you all for tuning in. I want to thank you all for watching this. I've been running like mad for the past 2.5 weeks, doing different podcasts, trying to raise awareness about this, trying to get this show funded. And here's the thing, all right? For decades, entertainment media has been produced by people who hate your family, your way of life, and your values. They've been slowly chipping away at the culture through their propaganda. We cannot win the culture war unless we're making culture. Myself and my team have produced over 600 animated videos. We've gained over 1 million subscribers. We've gained over 290 million views. That's with $0 spent on marketing. We have the track record. We have the experience. We're making a full-length animated show. We've already got the pilot done. If you want to watch that, go over to twistedplots.com, donate at any level. You will get an email with a link to the pilot in your inbox. You will be able to watch it. We need to get these next 4 episodes funded. We're almost halfway through our crowdfunding timeline. We're just over halfway funded. The momentum's been phenomenal, but we got to keep the momentum up, and we need your help. We cannot do this. We cannot produce this culture without your help. I need you to go over to twistedplots.com. I need you to give $25. I need you to help us make this show. We've got the experience. We've got the team. We've got the track record. If you give me your support, we will be completely unstoppable. We're going to make this show. It's going to be incredible. You guys are going to love it. And I really firmly believe it's going to be a hit, and it's going to change the culture. So go over to twistedplots.com. The future of entertainment is right-wing, not ham-fisted monologues worked into shows that don't actually have a right-wing message woven into the story, but genuinely conservative. This show communicates its values through the story and through the jokes. Go over to twistedplots.com. twistedplots.com. Help us get it made. The future of entertainment is conservative. Now that woke is dying, we don't want people to come along and astroturf this space. We don't want the people who are making that awful woke stuff to start trying to get in on this sphere and make conservative entertainment or entertainment that they're going to call conservative. This needs to be made by people who have been part of this fight for years. We've been doing this for 11 years at this point. So I want to thank you all so much for watching. I want to encourage you one more time to go over to twistedplots.com. Don't take my word for it that this show is going to be genuinely funny and that it's going to be something that you'll be able to be entertained by even if you aren't conservative. Go over to twistedplots.com. Support the show. Support independent animation. You will get to see the pilot, and you will see that what we're making is really solid stuff. God bless you. Thank you so much. Thank you for helping us to create the future of entertainment. God bless you.